Hello all, Jamie Rodgers here from Craftmania, and today I'm introducing you to a brand new dye of the week. Now this week we are bringing you a new dye by Sue Wilson, and it's absolutely brilliant. It's going to be one of those that you're going to reach for time and time again. It's going to help you with your men's cards, your masculine cards, your teenager cards, and take you through a lot of the occasions that come up all year long. But before I introduce you to this week's dye of the week, please don't forget to subscribe to our Craftmania YouTube channel, and of course tap the bell so that you're notified of all of our future videos, because we would hate for you to miss anything. Now on that note, you might not know this already, but we have a new YouTube channel as well called Jamie Rodgers Crafts, which is just about our Jamie Rodgers Crafts products. Now, if you haven't already subscribed to that one, it's a brand new channel. We've only got something like 250 subscribers, and I would absolutely love to see that number grow. So if you haven't already, can you pop on over there for me and make sure that you've subscribed and tapped the bell for your notifications there too. And it's quite nice because actually between the two channels, we give you quite different content. On this one, it's more about Dye of the Week and our promotions, our bundle offers, where with our Jamie Rodgers Crafts one, it's more about looking at the products for Jamie Rodgers Crafts and of course giving you mini demos and different bits like that. So there's quite a lot going on over on that channel already. We've uploaded quite a bit of content to that one. So you might want to grab yourself a cuppa and go and have a little look through that one. Now, I'm telling you about another channel. We've not even told you about what we're here for, have we? So Dye of the Week, as I mentioned, a brand new one by Sue Wilson. Now I know you've watched a lot of these. I know a lot of you are collecting our dyes of the week. And if you haven't already come across them, we do have a designated page on the website. I'll tell you more about that later. But you can go back and look at the previous ones as well. Quite a lot of them are sold out, and I think this week's is going to follow suit. But it might be worth having a little look through and getting some inspiration on what you could be creating with those as well, and possibly adding them to your stash if we've still got them in stock. Now this week's dye of the week, as I said, it's from Sue. I told you it's going to be good for your masculine cards. It's going to come in all throughout the year. It is this one. Now this is our Industrial Chic Frame and Tag. Now I love this because it is perfect for working in with your car die cuts, your car decoupage, your car stamps. It can also of course go into all the tool bits that you might have already, so your screwdrivers, your hammers, all of them sort of bits that you've got for that style of card as well. I can see it being used for Father's Day, great for your sons and your grandsons' birthdays and bits like that throughout the year. But equally, it could be, if you're just sending it as a masculine Christmas card, it could be the back into that as well. And of course, it also lends itself to all of our incredible steampunk styles that we can go down as well, feminine, masculine, or unisex. So again, I think it's one, although I'm sort of saying great for the men's cards, I think we're going to find ways and means that we're going to be using this all throughout the year. Now, of course, it does also go landscape, so you can use it portrait or landscape, however you wish to. There are 3 dyes in the set. The largest one, to give you an idea, is 12.7 by 9.2 centimetres. So it's quite a nice proportion. It's one of those dyes that's not so big you've got to make massive cards. You could sort of strip it back to your teeny weenies, but equally, if you want to, it can certainly be the focal of a bigger card with a nice embossing or stencil background going behind that. Now, I do know that there are lots more cog-related items coming up in the Jamie Rodgers Crafts world in the not too distant future. So getting this dye, knowing that they're going to work with the future dyes that I release, might also help you as well plan for what you're going to be able to create. So price-wise, this dye should be £15.50, but being Craftmania, we have this on offer for you this week at only £7. So you're saving more than you're spending, which is what I always love to bring you when we bring you a dye of the week. Now on top of this, because it's over £5, you're going to receive free UK P&P as well. So you don't have to pay a penny to get this sent to your door. It will arrive on second class free UK P&P, and you don't have to pay even a penny to get that P&P to you. Now, if you do live internationally and you would like to order this dye, then of course you can do that as well. We ship all around the world every single day, and our international P&P is capped at just £10. So the most you'll pay is £10. If we can get your P&P cheaper than that, we will actually pay the difference for you, or we'll pay the extra for you. If we get it less than £10, then we actually refund that difference to you. So the most you can physically pay is £10. If you have any questions about how this works, pop onto our website, which which is www.craftmaniacrafts.com, and you will find a customer service tab on there. There is a little section about shipping and handling, and it tells you all about our UK and our international shipping. Now, while you're on the website, you're going to want to know where to find this die. This is under our Die of the Week heading. So if you're on a mobile device, you'll have a drop-down menu. If you're on a desktop, you'll have a menu running across the middle of the screen. Click the one that says Die of the Week, and it will take you through to a page. And on that page, we have a little tile for every single Die of the Week that we upload. You're obviously looking for this one, our lovely industrial chic frame and tag set, but you'll also see all of our previous ones as well. So if you do wish to have a little look back at some of our previous ones, you can see them there. But if you give this one a little click, it will take you through to a page where not only will you find this die, on the cards I'm about to share with you, you will find all of the bits I've been using too. So if you're looking for a sentiment, a bow, an ink pad, a stamp, a die, they'll all be on that page for you to save you going hunting around the website. At Craftmania, we carry over 10,000 items, and I don't want you to have to go searching for them. So they're all in that one handy place for you to go and find. So let's delve in and have a little look at what we can do with this die, how it works, and what we can create to give you a little bit of inspiration. So let's look at our die set. So this one actually has 3 dies in here. So when we bring these in, we have got our frame die. Now this one, unlike a lot of Sues, actually has the outside edge attached to it. So when it cuts, it's going to cut out from your cardstock. You'll have a freestanding item. On the inside, this part is left as a solid. So there's no edge to this one. There's no cut line to it. So that's going to stay solid for you. So it's great for being able to build up on top of, stamping into that area if you wish to, and having that as a solid panel to actually work on. But Sue thinks of everything. So she has also given us the rectangle to cut out that central panel if we wish to. So if you wish to use this as a frame, you could sink your photos behind there, different bits like that. You can absolutely do so just by cutting this panel out. Also, it means that if you do leave this one as a solid, you can of course cut the matching size rectangle to build up on top of this one. So maybe you want a stencil on that panel, you want a stamp on it, you want to add something to it, a die cut, whatever it may be, you can then bring that in and place that back on top of this panel and build up from there. On top of this, Sue's then give us this little bit. Now she refers to this as a tag. This is the perfect little sentiment bar that I feel could be used. Maybe if we are doing some scrapbooking, we use this as our frame, whichever way up we want it to be. And then we wish to put on the names, the dates, the times, any little bit of info that you wish to. That is the perfect little bar to add at the bottom of that. Now this doesn't particularly have any steampunky industrial coggy feelings to it. It actually reminds me quite a bit of when you go around stately homes and you see them lovely door plaques that they have around the door handles. It reminds me of that. Or maybe turning it this way and having it as quite an ornate looking letterbox. You could quite easily trim that part in the centre to form up and turn it into a letterbox if you'd like to. I just think that's a lovely little panel that has quite a lot of options. So when we bring these 3 dies in and get creative with them, let's start off with this one, because this is one you might not expect. This is taking this frame and extending it and layering it. So what I've done is I've cut it twice from white cardstock, and I've cut my bar here, and I've just placed this behind it and built it up twice to create a longer area of a bar. Now in a minute I'm going to show you how we can do the similar idea and turn it more into a frame, but this time we're looking at it coming out from a panel. We're building outwards, we're making it a mat and a layer as such, but you can also turn that and bring it inwards as well. Now for this card, I've cut them from white and I've coloured them with an alcohol marker. Now I'd already done my mini and I'd coloured that in with an alcohol marker, so I wanted the cogs to match in. I also used the same colour marker to go around the edge of the card so it all coordinated perfectly. On top of this, I've also used my directions, Jamie Rodgers Craft Directions 8x8 stencil, and I've sent that through and embossed it in the machine to create this lovely embossed background, which reminds me a bit of tyre tracks. Now these stencils are of course on a bundle offer, but that ends on the 14th of September. So if you haven't seen the bundle offer for our stencils, do check that out. It'll be on the same page on the website as all of the other bits, so you can see it easily. There is also a video as well on the Jamie Rodgers Crafts YouTube channel that shows you lots of ideas with that stencil and all of the others in that bundle. So you might want to check that channel out for that video as well. Now the mini this time I've cut it twice, and what I mean by cutting it twice is I take the die and you put the die down onto your mat, then put 2 pieces of card on top and send it through. What's going to happen and this happens with all dies, is it's going to cut the first one perfectly, so you can use that for your panels, you can use that for whatever you wish to. The second one will stay in the cardstock. Now this is where the mini comes in. If you do that, the second element will stay there, and you can tease out the edge. It'll cut around the edges, but it won't cut all the delicate bits, all of the cog details, for instance, on this one. It would cut around the edge, but not all of them bits. So with a mini, it's going to cut around the edge, but it's not going to cut on the windows. So I've taken the second one and I've placed that underneath the first one and glued them together so I have solid windows. Because I find with these cars, which I absolutely love by the way, but I do find with them, if I leave the windows open, I kind of expect that there's going to be people in there, or I'm going to see something in there, and I didn't want to have to bother doing that as such. So I thought, well, actually, if I put the windows back in place, that creates that lovely look of the car without having the opening go right the way through it. So it's just an easy way to double cut and create that frame. Now I've done very similar for the next card here, in the sense of taking the frame and using it for more than what it's intended. But as I mentioned when we were looking at this one, we can of course bring that on into the inside of the frame and create a very different look. So this time I've cut my frame out of pebble grey cardstock, which is one of our lovely soft greys. I've then used our Gilded Touch, which is a cosmic shimmer, like gilding wax style product. I don't think they class it as a gilding wax because it's not solvent based, and it's really good because it's a water based version, and it's great for the planet, it's great for you. You don't have to worry about any of them nasties being in there, and it's just again one you can apply and rub over with your finger to highlight the texture and depth that's on your die cuts really easily. I've then taken a black ink pad and I've just sort of softened it down because it'd gone a bit too sparkly, a bit too metallic-y, a bit too Christmassy. So I took a black ink pad and just rubbed that over the top just to tone them down slightly. Now in the background, you've got the same directions embossing, I always call them embossing folders, same direction stencil, but embossed to create that embossing folder look. We've then got the mini again, cut twice, this time out of black cardstock, coloured again, just using my finger, building up the layers with those, again, those Gilded Touch, and adding in a black ink pad just to tone it down slightly. In the centre, we've brought in, of course, our little tag from this set, and we've stamped Happy Birthday on this one. Now, the Happy Birthday stamp comes to us in this time in the Lace Sentiment stamp set that's, of course, out and about and on that same page. Then moving on to our third card. So this time we have brought in an embossing folder to coordinate. Now our embossing folder is one of our Nellie's embossing folders, and I've done this on a piece of white cardstock. I've brought in an elephant grey quick dry ink pad, rubbed that over the top so I've got some nice grey cogs, and then I've used the same shades of the Gilded Touch to go over the top of it and highlight and sort of give them cogs a more distressed look. I've then cut out my cog panel, again from the same pebble grey, and gone around those just exactly the same with our Gilded Touch. Pebble grey cut for the car on the top here, and again gone over with Gilded Touch. Can you see I really love the Gilded Touch? That comes in quite a lot in today's video. It's just a really lovely way to build up and create that metallic-y, rusty style effect, depending on what you'd like to look for. Then we move on to our next one. So this time I have again taken my frame, I have cut it using the inside rectangle element from pebble grey cardstock. I've used a black ink pad to go over the top and just tone it down slightly. I've repeated the process once again for our little tag element and added on my nephew die cut. I've then brought in, and this is the first decoupage sheet we're seeing throughout this video, but there's a couple more to come. This is one of our 3D sheets, so you just pop them out, build them up with foam pads, and they just really look quite cool and quite fun. And I often know, like my nephew, he loved little Tonka trucks and digging and sort of building and bits when he was younger, and I thought it was a really cool way to bring in this sort of JCB element and add to the side of the frame there and bring in that sort of industrial chic look. In the background, I've also gone for the directions stencil, once again embossed, giving that tyre track style. And it's quite nice because you can see how that really matches in with the tyres that you can see here on our lovely JCB. So that just works quite nicely. Then moving on to our next one. So again, we're going to bring in one of our decoupage sheets. We've got this really cool car. I'm trying to remember, is it a CV2 or have I dreamt that? I'm not very good with cars, but it's brought in, put onto the side here. And then again, with our frame, I've cut one out of black. I've cut one out of pebble grey. And the one out of pebble grey I've left as a solid, so I haven't used the rectangle in the middle to cut it out, but the black one I have. So when I foam pad that on, I've got the opening in the middle. I've then used one of Sue's tall borders. Now these are cool. These have got little like screw tops debossed into them, which I think is really lovely. And in the background also I've used my stamp, and this is our lovely pinstripe DL stamp, and I've stamped that in our elephant grey quick dry ink just a couple of times across the card to create that line detail. Then moving on, so we've spoke about double cutting for our dies, and we were talking about it, didn't we, with our minis and our cars. I've done the same here with the cog background, so I've cut two at once out of the pebble grey cardstock. Now I didn't tease this out from the frame, I didn't tease this out from the waist as such. I left it in place, and I actually added a couple of bits of tape on the back of it quite quickly to hold it in place. So there is a cut line, but you're not going to see it, you're not going to notice it. I then took a black ink pad and rubbed that over the top of the panel. And what I've done is I've highlighted that cut line. Where the die has gone in and pushed that cut line down, we're not touching it with the ink, so we're just highlighting over the top, and we end up with this lovely cool engraved pebble grey line. It's just a really fun way to get more uses from your dies, because it makes them look a little bit like an embossing folder or a stamp without them having to be one of those. I've then added on the happy birthday. I've also bought in Sue's Ferrari and added that onto the front here. Again, double cut, coloured in with alcohol markers, and just added a few details on with a white gel pen. Then on to our last card. Now this one's a cool one, bringing in a supercar this time. I think that's a Bugatti. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing that right. I really don't know a lot about cars, but it's a lovely one, isn't it? It's one I'd like to go find in my garage one day. We can but dream. So again, on this one, we've used the frame, but instead of using it as you might intend, this time I've cut it from gold mirror card, I've cut it from black cardstock, and then I've put the two together and trimmed it down to create my frame, or my borders actually, I should refer to them as this time. Then I've brought in the tag element, cut that from gold mirror card, and then stamped a little sentiment and layered that on the top with a black layer behind it, just to give that black pop that we can see poking out from behind these layers, and of course used in our mats and layers as well. So that gives you 7 ideas on what you could be creating with this die set. But to be honest with you, I think you're going to come up with a whole host of other ideas. We haven't taken this into home decor, we haven't taken this into scrapbooking, we haven't taken this into so many other avenues of card making and paper crafting, and I think you're going to have a great amount of fun playing around and trying different techniques. One I wanted to do but didn't quite get time to do is actually cutting it and then going over it with embossing powder and sprinkling in different colours of embossing powders to give to give that rusty style of effect, which you can do if you mix that black, clear, silver, red, copper, is the one I'm thinking of, and gold. Just sprinkle them on like you would salt, I suppose, in a sense, and then heat that up. You're not wasting any of your powders because it's all going to go into one project, but it'll all sort of mix and match and look really cool. And I really wanted to try that, but I didn't quite get time for that. But there's so many ways you want to take that time and play with them. And I think that just showing you these 7 different projects has hopefully given you quite a bit of inspiration on what you could be creating with these. So if you would like to get hold of this die set, of course, don't forget free P&P for the UK because it is over £5. Capped international P&P of just £10 for our international shoppers. And of course, your die itself should be £15.50, but is down to just £7 at the moment. And you're going to find this on the Craftmania website, which is www.craftmaniacrafts.com. And you're going to find all of these goodies under the die of the week. If you've got any questions that I can help with, then please don't hesitate to let me know. Thank you very much for watching today, and I look forward to seeing you all again very, very soon. Bye for now.